G'day, welcome to the brand new channel, Swingin with Willy. I've been detecting for about 3.5 to 4 years now. In the last year or so I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube and commenting on those. From those comments I've received replies and requests asking if I have my own channel or my own content. Obviously I don't until now, so I decided to get up my butt and do something about it. I don't have many clips from the past, there's only two. Both of those are missing their audio, but I'll pop them up at the end anyway. In the meanwhile, I'll give you a recap of the stuff that I've found in the last 3 or so years, which is in a display cabinet just below us. So we'll get straight to that. As you can see, we've got a fair bit in here. I'm trying to be as quick as possible. We'll start down the bottom corner here. So this one here, this bottle I found in the Golden River. It's actually hand blown. This neck sort of has a bit of a lean on it in this direction, a bit exaggerated. When I found it, it was about 2 feet down, and there was only about this much of the bottle sticking out of the bank. I dug in to find that it was in one piece, and it's not even got a chip in it. So that was a nice find. And then just here we've got all the milk glass that I've found over the last couple of years. Most of these are cosmetics in the front, and some of these in the back are sort of Marmite, and, which is the English Vegemite. A couple of different porcelain bits. Mason jar lids here. This one, the only reason why I kept it, it says across the bottom there, Melbourne 1956. And it's got a bit of a, like a bike on the side, so it's actually one of the old collectibles for the Melbourne Olympics back then. Vicks Vapor Rub jar, the only blue glass I found. Medicine bottles. Poison bottles. So we've got 4 milk bottles here. This one here is a 1 pint. This is a 568. This one here is a 600. This one's a 600ml 1 pint. A couple of porcelain light fixtures, some glass droppers, glass stoppers, various inkwells. This one just here is actually a full-length arrow that I detected out of my local park. When I found it by this end and pulled it backwards in the direction it was fired from. That was actually fired into the centre of the park. That's a little bit of a concern. Got lead toy cars there. Most of those are Lesnies. 1 toy motorcycle, and an intact car headlight that I found in the trash pile. These ones here are the English pennies and half pennies I found. Haven't found too many, unfortunately. We've got the Commonwealth half pennies, Commonwealth full pennies. All of these are Roo pennies, and these are the Roo half pennies. As you can see, a whole heap of different bottles. Some of those aren't too old, some are. Others I don't have any idea of the age. I come up here, so just up in this corner we've got the lead figurines that I found over the time. Got a couple of lead wind-up toy keys in there as well. We've got an old toy plane that I found, the axe and hammer wedges, skeleton keys and the lock plates. The one here is just actually a badge off the front of an old lock, the lockwood. These are all the bullets that I find around the area. This one's actually a live 303 that I dug out of a property that was demolished. All the, it's just a handful of the bullets we find in the bush. They're everywhere. So just here we've got the Australian military bits and pieces. This bit here I believe is a bit of trench art. It appears to be 2 bullet casings that have sort of been fabricated and fixed together. I thought it was a whistle initially, but in this end here it's actually got like a wax in the end. I don't believe that's how they used to make blanks back in the day, but I'm pretty sure they crimped the end of them, but I'm not too sure. These ones here are the Rising Sun badges that I found. This one still has a pin in the back. This one's a little American Eagle button. I think it's just a replica of like an old military one. I'm not too sure. This one here is an Australian coat of arms button that had a silver wash at some point. I'm not sure what its use was. This is a Anzac pin from very early on. These two are clean examples of the 2 buttons that I have here. These ones are purchased, those are detected. We've got a World War II naval coat button, gold gilded. And these three are the victory medals that were given to the kids after the First World War finished. They're actually given to the kids in 1919. We come up here. These are the silver coins I found over the years. That's not actually silver, unfortunately. That's just a Cooper and nickel knockoff, but I couldn't stand to see an empty space. All of these are 925, and these ones are all the 50%. Now this one here is a Roo halfpenny. Right there, the shiny bit, the blob. When I first saw that, I thought that was a bit of sterling silver by the colour of it. I ended up weighing one of these, 3 pence, with, just over the side here, a Roo penny, halfpenny, sorry. And the combined weight of those together is actually the exact same weight as that. So I believe my guess was right. There's sort of an arc on the coin of the shape of the silver. It's like the fire is in it, sort of heated up and transfer like silver does. It would have been an extremely hot fire, but I believe that's how it's happened. Over here we have, let's get in the right spot. These are all the different badges I found over time. So these are the, that is the 50-year anniversary of Hawthorne, dated 1910. This one's the coronation for King George V for 1911. This one's for King George VI in 1937. And then we've got the heir to the throne for Queen Elizabeth II, that was from 1939. And these two are the Royal Visit Victoria medals from 1959, when Queen Elizabeth came over. That's her first seating of Parliament medal. We've got a Holloway's Pills and Ointment token. This one here is, I believe, a love token or something, or it used to be an old pin. On the back of it, there's a bit of solder where it looks like an old pin was sticking off. It's actually an English 3 pence. This one here is an English 6 pence, which is from 1839, second year of Queen Victoria. This one has the same bust as that does. So I believe that's from the same era, but this one here, someone's rubbed the face off and done a floral pattern engraving on the front of it. This one here is a 1910 Australian King Edward VII. It's the only 3 pence I've actually found of his so far. As you can see, it's been altered. When I type in it, try to look it up on Google, the only way I can find anything that resembles that is trench art. Now, if that's trench art, that bloke had some serious skill. This one here is a bit of play money. That's actually metal, I detected. We have a couple of Chinese coins over here. Let's move you along a little bit. A few 5-cent pieces there. Now these two in the case, the only reason why I've put them in there is they're 1972 and they're the lowest minted year that I'm aware of. I've never managed to find one in my change, but I found 2 detecting. This one on top, in that circle there, I believe to be a cracked die error. The 5 doesn't actually continue all the way around, and it's sort of a bit of a blob in that circle. This one's a 1968, and it's just one of the cleanest coins I've ever seen in out of the ground. And if that's been in the ground that long, that was some good dirt. We've got the altered coins here. We've got the only square coin I've ever found, and a couple of chips of pennies. Come down here for a sec. We've got a cigarette tin, a couple of old lighters, an old pipe, another lighter, an old toy cap gun, one of the old Rangers. It's a handgun. It's actually a pencil sharpener. We've got some of the old knives from back in the pocket knives. This one's just a little homemade job. We've got a valve stem cover for a T-model Ford. These are different various lipsticks I found over the years. This gold here I purchased. That little bit is the biggest piece I've ever found. And that's back when I was a teenager from Sovereign Hill. I found that out myself. I actually detected that in my local area. So it's quite a nice little find. Just here we've got the old dog tags. This one's an old Tail Waggers Club. I believe it was about the 30s or something. This one here is actually from Utah, so that's a long way from home. That is possibly a tektite or a meteorite. I'm not sure exactly. I actually detected that with my detector. It's quite sort of charred. We go to the badges here. So we've got all the different variations of school badges, just random badges. And these two are the best badges I've found. This one here, if anyone can help me to identify it, that'd be awesome. I've done so much research trying to figure that out from contacting as many companies as I can think of that would have anything to do with it. It's a GMH Staff Club badge. Now, the only sort of reference I can find to that is in a 1936 edition from August of the Pointers magazine. It's the only sort of reference I can find to that staff club, and it's mentioned in with the social club. Other than that, I can't find any references. Downey's Coins and Auctions actually told me they haven't seen one of those before, so that's obviously very rare. This one here is for the League of Youth of Australia. So as Hillsville Sanctuary was starting up, a few sort of people that were involved got together to sort of create this conservation project for the kids as well. Now, on the back of this badge, it says it was presented by S.B. Meyer, the original founder of Meyer department stores. Now, the issue with that is he actually passed away 10 days before that badge was presented. So that's a pretty rare little find too. There's only 10,000 of those actually made and in existence. We've got the pocket watches here that I found over the time. So silver back, 80%er, that's a 925. A couple of bezel, that's I believe is an old watch winding key. And the only intact pocket watch I've ever found. Unfortunately, the glass was smashed when I found it, so I just put some tape over the top just to protect it from breaking again. It's a Juracy. I believe it's from around 1900-ish. We've got the porcelain and glass buttons. Some of them still have metal on them. I actually detected that one because of the metal. The wishing stones. Got a whole bunch of marbles in there. A real big one on top. I believe this is an agate marble, and that's a old clay marble. And then we've got a couple of stone beads that I found just randomly sitting on the surface. Got the jewellery that we found over the time. There's not a lot. Most of these are silver in this area. We've got a couple more in here. This one has a few stones in it. This one is my favourite find. That was one of those wish list, bucket list sort of things. It's an American Navy ring. I don't know if it's exactly the era, possibly World War II, I'm not too sure. It has TJ Co on the inside. No name, unfortunately. That's just the company name. But that's a very nice ring. If I could find the owner, I'd love to. Here we've got an old sovereign case. Spewing there was no sovereigns around. It's a piece of silver. I don't know. It's a latch. It has a latch on it, so it's sort of open. I guess maybe for an old lighter or something. I'm not too sure. A hope of the old buttons here. These two are abalone shell. The rest are just all random different types of metals. We've got religious pennants here, scout stuff. This I actually found on the beach. I'm not too sure what that is, but it's a very interesting looking thing. And that was near a shipwreck area, so who knows. We have an old fox whistle, a rabbit fox whistle, a couple of copper leaves. We've got two dog tags here. This one's actually for the Nestle Car Club. That's like a MASH fan club dog tag. Got an old clicker here. I'll put about 10,000 on that, so it definitely still works. The funniest find I've ever found. This one here is a garden gnome keyring. You can sort of see the face on it here. And this little dangly bit on the side, so it sits in the middle on this cradle by that bit and that bit. The legs sort of dangle at the bottom. That's actually a couple having intercourse. Believe it or not. We have a horse hoof pick from around the 1900s. A couple of old buckles. We've got the old junk jewellery and brooches and whatnot. Over here we've got all the old modern change we've found. 1s, 2s, brown buggers, international. All the belt buckles we've got at the time. 2 mobile phones. Junk toy cars, spoons, harmonica reeds. That's about it. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.